they're getting into the small boats. Are they aware when they do that? Are they aware of how dangerous it is? I mean, yesterday's tragedy is all over the front pages of the newspapers. People are talking about it on, frankly, nearly every TV news channel or radio. And we're all aware that it's very, very dangerous, but are they?
Yes, I think so. You know, it's the busiest shipping lane in the world. It's a very short journey, but I think by now it's been going quite a while. I think people are aware of the danger, and I think that really hits home. The fact that the number of people that are still making that crossing, despite the danger, despite the deaths, I think it really hits home just how desperate these people are. You know, and they're not going to be easily deterred. And really, you know, you have to question if somebody does know the danger and they're choosing still to get into a small boat. Why are they doing that? You know, why would somebody put their life at risk like that?
Well, Kay,
it's because they are desperate and they're fleeing war, persecution, conflict, you know.
Well, Kay, let me put that question to you, because they're not fleeing war or persecution or conflict when they leave France. They're leaving a safe country. They've no doubt been through many safe countries to get to France. The majority of those rescued yesterday were Afghani men, a few Somalians. And I was wrong, by the way, 500 made the crossing yesterday, even in choppy waters and even after that disaster. So I put it to you, why are they making that crossing when they're leaving a safe country, France, where they could claim asylum? What's the draw of Britain?
I do find that to be quite a silly argument now, this far down the line. You know, they aren't coming from France, are they?
They are coming from France. They departed from France
yesterday. Of course, everybody isn't going to stay in France. France takes a lot of people, as does Germany, Spain, lots of other countries. Not everybody is going to stay in France, but it is at the end of a much longer journey.
Yes, indeed, it's been a very long journey, but why doesn't it stop in France? Why do they want to come to Britain?
Not everybody does. You know, there's several reasons why people might want to come to Britain. Language, family reunification, you know, but a lot of people settle in other countries too. You know, we don't take the most in Europe. It's spread across Europe. You know, there's a lot of people floating around. And yes, we take a lot of people, but as do a lot of other countries.
But the point remains, it's a perilous journey. You spelled that out. The facts spell that out. Yesterday was the biggest loss of life in the Channel since November 2021, when 27 died. It seems inevitable these things will happen again. When you look at the perilous state of the craft, they're barely seaworthy. I've seen a lot of these in Dover. No doubt you have. That's where you're based. You know these craft are designed for a one use. They're designed by human traffickers who clearly don't care about loss of life. They're simply trying to make money. Surely a safer, more humanitarian way of dealing this for everybody concerned would be to contain this issue in the mainland, in Europe, in France.
That's idealistic, though, isn't it? I mean, I think after a few years, we have to admit that that isn't going to happen. You know, we have to work within our own limitations here. It's clear that deterrents don't work. It's not going to put people off. So we need to change. We need to change tack. This is a humanitarian issue. We need a compassionate solution.
When you talk to these people, what is it that they say about that? What would they like to happen?
Well, I think I'm somebody who knows what the options might be. Do you know what I mean? Not a lot of people do know what the options for safe legal routes are. But of course, we use humanitarian visas with the Ukrainian situation. People were brought here safely and legally, never having to navigate the asylum system or get into a small boat. So it can be done. We do have mechanisms available, but they're very, very narrow, and they don't catch everyone that is allowed to be here. So we know now that nothing is going to work. Nothing is going to deter people. We need to start looking at how we get them here safely and process them quickly.
Kay, Stephen Kinnock, Labour's shadow immigration minister, today in the Sunday Mirror has said one thing that his party would be tempted to look at is making those who successfully get asylum more productive members of British society. I'm assuming that means they'd be granted work visas. Is that something that you would like to see?
Yes, absolutely. You know, the right to work in this country at the moment, you know, we have a massive backlog in the asylum system, which means we have a lot more people waiting on a decision than we usually would have, because it's taking a long time to clear their cases. So if we gave people the right to work when they've been here for maybe 6 months, still awaiting their asylum claim, we wouldn't have to house them. We wouldn't have to give asylum support, because people would be allowed to support themselves. At the moment, they're not. So we have no no other choice but to support them, to keep them alive. If we gave the people the right to work, they would fill gaps in the workforce. It would bring money through tax and national insurance contributions, and the asylum support bill would go way down.